There are so many damn things we take for granted nowadays. Cell phone chargers are definitely one of them. I can't tell you how much I wanted to keep typing after all of us in this shitty elevator heard a shriek that sounded like the undead coming back from the grave, but I didn't have much choice but to conserve battery life given what happened next. I will do my best to update what happened in those terrifying moments. The little girl was looking up at us, her body shaking as she told us to stay completely still. To my surprise, everyone in the elevator listened, even the fidgety army private. The strange noise returned. It got closer, louder and more frantic. It sounded like it was right past the walls. Amanda was the only one who seemed uncertain what to do, but even though she couldn't hear the strange screams, the elevator was vibrating and that seemed to be a sign for her to remain motionless. Next we heard what sounded like the scraping of claws against the metal, loud and repetitive. It's right outside. Don't move, the girl whispers. Chloe's eyes widen in fright and I can tell she is close to panicking. Then as suddenly as it comes, the strange noise ends and we are alone again. Only a distant wailing is heard as all stand there, too lost for words to even describe what happened. Sydney is the one who steps toward the girl, who has now started to sit cross-legged on the floor of the elevator. Thank you for telling us what to do, she says. The little girl ignores her and turns back to the wall, crouching in a ball again. I don't think she will talk to you, probably still scared. Phil remarks, how did she know what to do? Chloe asks, I told you that she knew what was going on, something about her is off. The army private says next. I can't help but to be tired of his attitude. Although I have no idea what is going on, his conspiracy shit makes everything 10 times worse. As far as I'm concerned, you're the only one who has been causing problems. Why are you even here in this building? Everyone else has told us bits and pieces of their story. Why haven't you? I countered. I can't help but to mention how claustrophobic this place is. Anytime we are talking, there is less than a few inches of space between us. We are literally breathing the same air. So when I confront the guy, I see the anxiety and anger on his face, and I am terrified he is going to attack me like he did Phil. Does it matter? We were strangers before we came into this mess. Let's keep it that way, he argues. Kinda hard to do that when you're carrying a mystery bag around, Sydney points out. I'm glad she has mentioned what worried Amanda earlier, but I don't like that everyone is becoming agitated. My stuff is my stuff. He snaps back, pushing his backpack against the wall. I can tell this conversation is going nowhere and it feels like we are just making things worse. Maybe to distract ourselves from the danger outside, we should get rest, Phil decides. Sydney and Amanda also seem to agree it's time to relax, especially after that scare. None of us wanted to even dare discuss what it meant. I slumped against the wall and tried to find as much personal space as I can to relax. We are 5 grown adults trying to cram our bodies in an elevator not designed for this. Claustrophobia doesn't even begin to describe what I felt as I curled my legs under me and closed my eyes. I hope sleep comes easy. Update Amanda is attempting again to sign instead of write because it is so dark, but I can't really make heads or tails of it. I don't think anyone here understands what she is saying. Maybe it's a panic attack and she isn't thinking clearly like the rest of us, but then to my surprise, the little girl is the one to offer a translation. She asks how can we rest and be sure the monster won't return. I look toward the little girl and get a better view at her now. She's possibly 8 or 10. Somewhere in those preteen years where it's impossible to tell. Pale with blue eyes, freckles, and dark red hair. For some reason I feel like I have seen her before. Before today, I mean. But that couldn't be. Another strange memory that isn't making sense. Well, I'm not sure. Will it come back? I ask the girl. She diverts her eyes for a while, clearly not wanting to talk about it. But my questioning also stirs the interest of the others. The soldier isn't quite so subtle. Yes, spit it out. How did you know anything about that thing? What was that anyway? He asked, easy. She's just as scared as the rest of us, Chloe commented. It's fine. I don't have an answer for you anyway, only that I know it was here at the drop, she whispers. That piques my interest further and I sit up. What do you mean, like it caused it? I ask. She curls her legs under her body a little bit more. It took someone away. Then she turns back toward the wall, clearly wanting to end the conversation. Wait, what the hell does that mean? The soldier asks. I'm anxious to hear the answer, but the girl just mumbles that she doesn't think it's a good idea to talk about it. Hold on now. I think we are all pretty open to talking about this. Am I right? After all, we want out of here, Phil says, trying to coax the girl. You can't get out, not unless it wants you out, not unless it feeds on you, the girl whispers. Amanda is shining, undoubtedly asking what is going on, but the girl doesn't bother responding. Chloe and I look at each other with more unease. We were only dealing with an ordinary crisis a few moments ago, but with these new ripples we all feel that we are in uncharted territory. We sit there in the dark, in between exhaustion and paranoia, trying to figure out what to do next. Everyone has stopped talking and seems to be falling asleep out of sheer desperation. I can't help but to feel like I need to eat or pee, and I don't even know if either will be a possibility. The girl is humming softly to herself for a moment, and then she finally falls asleep as well. Or at least that's what it sounds like. I keep my eyes closed as the rest of the group remains silent and each begin to softly snore, but I'm not planning on sleeping just yet. The last few hours have me on edge, and I feel like I can't trust the people that are here in this elevator with me. Call me paranoid like the army guy if you want, but it makes me feel a little safer to keep one eye open. Eventually, even all is quiet and I decide to make my move. Phil is snoring to my left and I gently nudge myself to stand up and look at the others, making sure they are asleep. Sydney, Chloe and Amanda are only an arm's length away, all resting next to the door. And then the fidgety soldier is stretched to the right wall, his backpack in between his legs just a few feet in front of me. Slowly I slide back down into a crouching position. I stretch my arm out and slide the backpack over toward me. It's time I see if I can find out more about this stranger, I thought. The only person unwilling to divulge any information was automatically a red flag, and his shifty behavior told me that he had to know more about our situation than he was pretending to. In the darkness, it's difficult to see for sure what is inside the backpack, so I reach in and feel around, letting my sense of touch guide me. At the top layer, it seems as though he has placed survival gear such as food, bandages, and other tools, making me wonder just what he was in this building to begin with again. Then below that I feel a gun. I instinctively pull it out and realize that it's loaded with exactly enough bullets for all of us. My heart can't help but to skip a beat. Then he makes a soft grumble in his sleep and I freeze, worried he has woken. Instead, he turns over and his hand flops onto the elevator floor, splayed out. I put the gun back in the bag and keep looking, finding a journal next. At first, I'm very disappointed to find it looks normal. There aren't any incriminating photos or anything like that. My suspicion of him being here for ulterior motives feels unfounded. Then, just as I feel like calling it quits and resting for the remainder of the evening, a small piece of paper falls out. What the message says makes me rethink his innocence. How much time is left? My heart starts to beat a little faster. Above that note, I can barely read something he scratched out. It looks like a list of names, but I can't read it. Is the note talking about us, the people here in this elevator? I use my phone to get a better view of the scratched out list and realize one of the names is my own. How does this guy know who I am? It makes me feel very uncomfortable, especially when I connect it to the gun I found. Was he planning to eliminate us? I'm too terrified to answer that. Too confused and worried about the strange circumstances we have arrived at, and before I could come to my senses to hide any further snooping, I felt a sharp blunt to my head. I think a few hours passed before I became conscious again. It's another thing we have to take for granted down here. There is no real way to keep track of time since most of our phones don't connect to any networks. At first I'm disoriented and trying to recall what happened. Then I remember the attack and my eyes dart open. Chloe is standing there conversing with Phil, but I am not awake enough yet to determine what they are saying. Hey, you okay there, bud? The young man whose backpack I rifled last night asks me. I stand up and glare at him, certain he is the one that knocked me unconscious. Everyone, I was attacked last night, I said. I'm still feeling dizzy, trying to get my surroundings, even though we have practically spent a day together in this tiny prison. These people's faces aren't memorized yet. Names come back to mind faster as my eyes dart between them. Sydney, Amanda, Chloe, Phil. The girl, wait, I look around again. The girl is missing. Suddenly I feel the urge to get to the bottom of this no matter the cost and grab the young man and pin him to the wall. Eli, what are you doing? Phil asked anxiously. Getting some damn answers, I say as I ball my hand into a fist and shout, talk right now before I put a crater in your skull. That's enough, Phil said as he grabbed me. I don't want to fight him, but he needs to understand. Aren't you the least bit concerned about what the hell he did? What he knows? I looked through his backpack last night. He had a notebook that had my name in it, and he had a gun. What in the hell are you talking about? The young man asked. Show us what's in the bag, I demanded. What? No. Bill seems uncertain what to do and corners the army guy. Listen, it's time to come clean about this. What's in the bag? All of us have him cornered. He quickly takes off his bag and tosses it to us on the floor in the middle of our feet. I have nothing to hide here, mate. Same as you. You can look all you want, he says with a shrug. The others let me go and I rummage through it but can't find a thing. No note, no gun. He must have hidden it. There must be a secret compartment in the elevator somewhere, I said as I look on the floor trying to find any clues to where he had managed to hide it. Don't you get it? He hurt that girl and now she is gone. I screamed at them. I saw they all looked more frightened than before because of my outburst as I tossed the backpack toward the young man. I know you did something to her, so spit it out. Where is she? I snarled. Eli, you need to calm down. Sydney insisted. Calm down. How can I when he literally just murdered a 9-year-old girl? I screamed. I'm sure we can sort this out by first treating your injury, Chloe said as she examined my head. You must have had a pretty rough fall. It scared all of us and you've been out for a while, she added. I'm fine. I need to know what happened to the girl. Now, instead of fear, they exchanged worried and distressed looks. Eli, I think you need to lie down. Tell me more about the girl and then we can sort this out, she replied. For a moment I almost feel relaxed in her words. Then what she actually said hits me like a freight train. What do you mean tell me more about her? She was right there, I snarl as I look at the blank wall. Any evidence of her drawings is long gone. Eli, take a look around. There is no girl, Chloe insists. I can hear the sincerity in her words. She truly has no memory of her. The others seem to have a similar confused and worried facial expression, but they are worried because of me. They think this is some sort of mental episode. You need to chill. The fidgety army private says. Part of me wants to lash out again, but I'm too terrified of the outcome to try. Everyone is looking at me as a threat. Maybe they are right. Just get some rest while we sort out how to get help, Chloe suggests. I nod and sit down, right where the girl had been. The steel floor of the elevator feels colder than ever. It's ironic how I couldn't remember her at first and now I am obsessed with her disappearance. Was all of it in my head? It frightens me to consider I might be losing my grip with reality as the others are preoccupied with the metal door again. Amanda slides over toward me. I know that she is probably equally frightened by my outburst, so I apologize to her. I don't know what came over me, I admit to her. She signs me something but then pauses halfway through and writes it down hastily instead. As she is scrawling the message, I can see fear in her eyes. She doesn't want anyone to see what she is writing. Then she passes it to me. It's a short message, but it's enough to jar me again, to realize I know there is more going on here than meets the eye. She disappeared, just like someone before her. My eyes widen as I realize she remembers her too. Then she quickly scrawls it out so no one knows what she wrote. She makes a simple gesture for me to remain quiet, and I nod only fractionally, a deep and settling dread cradling me as I look toward the others in the elevator. These people are the ones I'm supposed to rely on to help each other and get out of here, and I can't trust any of them.